What's up, guys? This is Cromar with TGN. Welcome back to our Mists of Pandaria class preview series, and this is the Assassination Rogue. I'm sorry about the delay of actually getting these Rogue videos out, but I have been busy. But I'm basically going to do Assassination as one video and then combine the other two into a second video because the Assassination is the most interesting one to me. So I want to get that out of the way. I'm also going to talk about a lot of the general Rogue changes. There's some really good stuff here. Actually, I'm very pleased with this, especially after the Shaman was kind of a bust, in my opinion. The Rogue here is very encouraging. So, number one thing I want to talk about is poisons, because I really like the changes to poisons. I mean, really, I'm really happy about this. What they've done, well, first of all, they eliminated instant poison, so you just have wound, don't have instant. But they've completely reworked how this system works. First of all, you don't put your buff on your weapon anymore, so that annoying thing is gone. Instead, it's just a buff you click like any other buff, really, that any other class uses. So, I'll click my deadly poison, and it applies it up here and refreshes it. Now, I'm also going to apply my wound poison, and watch what happens when I apply my wound poison. It overwrites the deadly poison. Okay, so the reason why is you have two different kinds of poisons, and it actually explains it here on the What Has Changed tab, where it says, Poison Down Spellbook, you can have one damage and one utility. That's lethal and non-lethal. So your default lethal poisons are wound and deadly, and this is for all specs, I believe. Deadly is your classic deadly. It doesn't stack anymore, it's just a dot. And subsequent applications deal an instant poison damage. So deadly is actually really good now. And then for everybody. And then wound poison is classic wound poison, which is instant plus the anti-healing. So wound poison is still really good for PvP. Almost exclusively for PvP, really. You're going to use deadly for everything else. And crippling and mind numbing, this is leeching, but I'll get to this later. This is a talent. Crippling and mind numbing are your primary alternate here for non-lethal that are available for all specs. You already know what they do. I don't need to explain it to you. But if I just cast crippling and it replaced my mind numbing, and then I clicked it off for some reason. So you can have one lethal, one non-lethal, and you don't have to worry about watching this timer here, or whatever. So it's just better. So I'm really happy about that change. Now, the other thing you have is you have Swiftblade's Cunning, which increases the melee and range attack speed. This is available for all specs, and it just gives you the aura. So you have a different. I don't think rogues have ever had a buff before. They've had debuffs that help the whole party. Like, no, they had Honor Among Thieves for subtlety. That's true. So I guess, but for this being for all specs is something new for rogues. So. That's some of the general quality of life changes. That's probably the biggest changes in my opinion. There's still a lot more stuff to go through, but those are the ones that I find really exciting. So other abilities that have been radically changed, Expose Armor has just been streamlined. It's no longer a finishing move. It's now 25 energy, and it gives you 3 Sunder Armor debuffs. I really like that. I actually have a glyph on this spec, so oops, I hit the wrong hotkey. And it just applies 3 stacks with 1 hit. So if your party is relying on you for this, it's only 25 energy every 30 seconds. It's really not that difficult. So if your party does not apply this debuff, then you should do it. And it's really simple. It's not a big deal. PvP, of course, is a no-brainer. You should always have this up on any target that has armor, which is all of them. So there you go. Recuperate's been changed a little bit, only in the sense, not the base ability's been changed, but in the sense the way it interacts with your specs. Now, I'll talk about this later with subtlety, because that's where the biggest changes are, but combat as well. Basically, Recuperate's just not part of your rotation anymore. You only use it for healing. How strange is that? So PvP, of course, you probably want to keep it up. Your healer will appreciate that, but for PvE, but in particular, you'll probably never need to use this again, and I'll show you why when I get to the talents, but we will see. Slice and Dice hasn't really been changed. Blind hasn't really been changed. There's some interesting ideas in the talents that we'll go over in a bit. Dispatch is a new ability, Vicious Strike, that exploits the vulnerability of foes with less than 35% health remaining. So yeah, this is remember how you used to have that spec with Backstab as Assassination, where you'd start backstabbing when they got low instead of mutilating? This is kind of what this does, but it's called Dispatch to Backstab. Okay. It doesn't require you to be behind the target, which is cool, so you can use it from the front. And so basically only subtlety has to rely on standing behind the target for backstab. They've almost gotten rid of this antiquated mechanic. I mean, I know backstabbing is a rogue thing. It's basically for flavor, but it sucks for PvE because they do not design encounters so that you can backstab them. So as Assassination, you can go ahead and wipe the sweat off your brow here, and you can dispatch things from the front now. Quality of life changes all the way. Now, in addition to that change for dispatch, there is a passive I want to show you that you're going to be very happy about. It is called Blindside. Performing successful mutilate has a 30% chance of leaving you, blah, 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 Single use of dispatch, no energy cost. So no longer costs 30 energy, which is pretty small to begin with. No energy cost, and regardless of the enemy's target's health. So that's why I was able to combo that in, with my mutilates. And let's get my garrote back up, or my rupture rather. And yeah, I just got a proc, so I'll hit that. You definitely want to hit that obviously every time it procs. And now you've got a lot of wasted combo points here, but when we get to talents, I'm going to show you how we're going to deal with that. So that's going to take just a minute here. Other abilities, your Venom largely is unchanged. It's just a lot less complicated because it's just 15% chance per combo point for all your poisons, and that pretty much means deadly poison because your other stuff is going to be up all the time. You've also got your leeching, which I still haven't shown you, but I will, I promise. New abilities, Shroud of Concealment. This is pretty much, your Illidan thing from what is it? Well of Eternity, I believe. Your Illidan thing. Watch, this is cool. Isn't this cool? Concealing allies within 20 yards. I love this. I don't know why I love this so much. It just looks neat. And it disappears. So I don't know why that spell effect makes me entertains me so much, but it just totally does. And somebody healed me. Thank you so much for that. For that heal, for that 40k heal someone just gave me. But it 5-minute cooldown, and you can conceal a whole bunch of people. I mean, the PvP ramification for this is just enormous. But think about challenge modes. I don't know if they're going to have anti-stealth in there to prevent you from doing this, because, I mean, there's been plenty of anti-stealth mechanics in dungeons in the past. But if there's places where you can use this to skip mobs for those timed challenge modes, then rogues are going to be gods for challenge modes. I mean, they might not let you do that, but I love this idea. It's like playing Illidan in Well of Eternity, and this is available for all specs, I do believe. So this is really exciting. It's just a general rogue change. So there's also something interesting with Feint. I'll show you that soon. These other skills, nothing really. There are some minor glyphs too. Okay, so far, good, exciting stuff. Honestly, good, exciting stuff. Quality of life. The rotation simplified. Not like made it stupid, but simplified meaning you don't have to stand behind the target, which I like. And the other thing is that there's a clarification on the tooltip. I guess you can call it a clarification, or just a simplification. With Venomous Wounds, you no longer have to garrote your target, because garrote will not trigger if the enemy is also afflicted by rupture. So you can open with garrote, if that way that you get a couple extra procs of your Venomous Wounds. You can say open with garrote, and then you can put up your slicing dice, pop it in venom, then you can do your rupture. And that way the garrote will keep it going. But you no longer have to use vanish on cooldown to re-garrote things for your maximum DPS. So this is not. So I just like that better. It just makes the rotation simpler. The rotation is kind of awkward, being forced to use vanish as an offensive damage ability for PvE. So that's gone. Very much simplified. So anyway, Venomous Wounds, yeah, simplified, like that. What else has changed here? This is a talent. I'll show you that soon. Talent. Of course, Seal Fate is unchanged. It's good old classic Seal Fate. I mean, the only thing that's changed the icon. Otherwise, it's been the same damn spell for the same damn talent for ages, ever since the start. Fleet-footed is available for all specs now. It doesn't include the healing, but it does give you the speed, which is, what's important. Where we got here? Assassin's Resolve is unchanged. Improved poisons, deadly and wound, application chance. So as Assassination, you're still very much focused on poisons. Master Poisoner, this is actually available for everyone now. Increases the spell damage, so you get the spell damage debuff in addition to your attack speed. That's what you bring to the group. So you bring 2 buffs no matter what spec. I do believe you get it with Subtlety, right? Yeah, I thought so. I'm pretty sure, because I've already checked out Subtlety. I just don't remember if that was there. Anyway, Cut to the Chase is unchanged. Potent Poison's your mastery. So yeah, those parts have not changed. So now, what we've all been waiting for. I'm going to go straight to minor glyphs because I can't wait anymore. This is too cool. Okay, 3 minor glyphs that absolutely made me giddy when I saw these, okay? The first one's Decoy. When you vanish, you leave behind an illusion. So it's like playing Phantom Lancer in Dota, or Monkey King in League of Legends. You leave behind a clone. It's not a very convincing clone, but by God, that can be useful for PvP. I mean, come on. PvE, I don't see it being useful unless they put something in here that they decide to buff it, maybe make mobs attack it or something, but I think that might be a little OP because I think that would be exploitable. But I really, really like this for PvP. I mean, this is just, there's so many ways you can, I don't even know where to start. With that. I mean, that is so obnoxious. Every rogue will have this. I mean, forget about it. I don't care what you spec you are, what class you are. You got to watch out for rogues now because of this freaking decoy glyph. It just totally game changer. Next one I love. Disguise. Okay, when you pickpocket an enemy, you copy their appearance, and your disguise will be unraveled upon. Will unravel. Okay, I can't read apparently. It just confused me for a second, the grammar there, but it was because I can't read. Anyway, it will unravel upon combat. So you pickpocket and you actually take their identity. So I'm gonna fly over here to these humanoid mobs out here. And we can see that happen. Then there's also one more thing that I'm going to check out, which is detection. This one, I almost don't want to explain what this means because it says, focus intently on trying to detect something. I almost don't want to tell you and keep it as an in-joke. This is an in-joke for really old school rogues, all the way back to vanilla. And it's made me so happy when I saw that they did that. I'll show you why in a second here. Pickpocket. So, yeah, there we go. I am now an orc. Well, I was already an orc. Well, I could have picked something a little less... a little more creative, like a quillbore or something, right? But yeah, I'm totally an orc, and as long as I don't go for the next 5 minutes, I'm now a member of the Burning Blade or the Searing Blade or whatever. So as long as I don't go into combat, so I can't mount while I'm. That's too bad. Anyway, so that's what that does. Now the detection, glyph of detection. Okay, you're gonna get used to this. Okay, in towns, there's gonna be rogues standing here spamming this ability over and over again, and you're gonna wonder what are these guys doing, and that's because they're really old school rogues. See, okay, I'll go ahead and explain to you why not. By the way, this buff detects something maybe doesn't do anything. This is the old version of detect traps. I mean, detect traps now, and it has been for a long time. I think it changed in Wrath. It might have been Burning Crusade, but I feel like it was Burning Crusade, or even maybe the middle of, I don't remember. Point is, they took out the old detect traps. The new detect traps, or what it's been for a long time, passive, increases the chance to detect traps, whatever. The way it used to work was it wasn't up all the time. You have to press the button to cast it, and it did this really elaborate animation. The thing is, rogues don't really have any animations at that time. This is like, or they didn't at that time. But the only thing you could do for animation was you could cast detection. You cast your detect traps. So some old school WoW player suggested this, or someone on the dev team was like, hey, remember when rogues used to just stand in town and spam detect traps because of the obnoxious animation? Well, now you can do it against the minor glyph. I mean, what a ridiculous... I would have never thought of this. I would have never... As soon as I saw that, I knew what it was for. I would have never thought of that. But so for you old school rogues, standing in town by the bank and just spam your detection over and over again, that's what you do. What a silly, ridiculous thing, but I love it. I love it. So I got kind of ahead of myself. I haven't talked about the things that actually matter, just the cool stuff. Everything else over here, Tricks You Trade no longer costs energy, but also no longer increase the damage dealt. I don't see any use for this whatsoever. It's only a 15 energy ability, right? Yeah, 15 energy, I thought. So I don't see any use for this whatsoever, but it is a minor glyph, so... I don't know. I mean, PvP, you need the damage. PvE, even. I think that you get more, the 15% damage, even on a tank, and just about anything. I mean, except for like a healer. I don't know why you want to transfer damage to a threat to a healer, but even on using this on a tank, the 15% damage increase you get from, 15% damage increase is more than worth 15 energy. So I don't even like this glyph whatsoever. I'm totally not into this glyph. So I'll skip that glyph. Safe fall, usual stuff. Actually, the rest of the stuff is not that interesting. Not for Assassination anyway. Blurred speed, the good old blurred speed. I'd probably take this over one of these things. I don't know which one. Decoy is required. Detection is absolutely required. Like, delete your rogue if you don't use detection. And then, I don't know, disguise I might get rid of. But that's not important. Major glyphs. So there's some combat stuff that's actually kind of neat. Glyph of Ambush is a classic glyph, but there's a couple here. There's actually not as many 4 major glyphs as you might like, but there is, Deadly Momentum. This is the one I like the most, because I'm currently actually leveling an Alliance Rogue. I have a Horde Rogue maxed out, but I'm leveling an Alliance Rogue because I'm ridiculous and play this game too much. And the fact that I can get Deadly Momentum now as non-assassination is so cool. And it regenerates your Slice and Dice and Recuperate. That is so cool. Granted, it's not as big of a deal as it was. In Cataclysm, your Recuperate was so important to your Subtlety rotation, and you probably should be leveling a Subtlety. So if I can have this glyph with my old Recuperate, I would be all over it. But that's okay because there's a change of subtlety. I might as well just tell you now because I've already talked about it like 3 times, and I'll go into more detail in the subtlety video. But the way they changed it is, I gotta find this actual passive here. Where is it here? Energetic recovery is now based on your slice and dice instead of your recuperate. So in fact, being able to keep permanent slice and dice is actually kind of important. So as subtlety, leveling subtlety, you're definitely gonna want this glyph. This is a no-brainer glyph. Use it the instant you can equip it. For any soloing really, but for PvE not as much. You need a killing blow. It's probably not going to happen all the time or not reliably. And for PvP, well, I don't know. For PvP battlegrounds, if you're farming people, you keep your recuperate up permanently. I kind of like that. It's not that big of a deal, though. There's probably other stuff, better stuff for PvP. Debilitation, you might as well call this glyph of blade twisting, because that's pretty much what it is. It's just adapted for other specs. It's adapted for assassination, so it works with your Envenom as well. That's pretty much what it does. It's pretty neat. Couple of nice talents, well-liked talents that are kind of spread out for all the other specs now. And in glyph form, recuperate just increases the healing. There's no way to get that damage reduction from combat anymore. Sorry, just the way it is. Glyph of Shiv reduces the cooldown. Excuse me, this is actually something I forgot to mention. I also forgot to mention Shadow Walk, so I'll show you both of these now. Shadow Walk also increases your stealth detection, reduce cooldown on Shiv. Keep those in mind. So let's look at those abilities. Shiv, now, it's on a 10-second cooldown. It costs 20 energy. This is a flat 20 energy, by the way. It's no longer variable. If I equip, where's my, I'll equip like an axe in my offhand. Well, you'll just trust me. It's just a pain in the ass. You just trust me. It's 20 energy no matter what you have equipped, and it's 10-second cooldown by default. It's really weak damage, dispels the enrage, blah, 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 blah. But here's the other thing. It applies a concentrated form of your active non-lethal, so it actually does something different. You actually get an extra special effect out of your non-lethal. So for mind numbing, you get increases the cast time, doubles the spell cast time of your next spell. So you just put this on the healer. You just shiv the healer every time it's up. No brainer. Crippling poison gives you a stronger slow. I don't like this one as much. It's still good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not nearly as good as mind numbing, in my opinion. There are some times when I'd like to use it, but overall, mind numbing seems to be king. I would definitely keep this on for PvP. And then PvE, it doesn't matter. They're the same. PvE, you're going to be using leeching anyway, and we'll see that in a minute. Now, the other ability I forgot to mention was Shadow Walk. It's while stealth, increases stealth effectiveness for 6 seconds. It's kind of like what the old Vanish used to do. Yeah, I think that's about it for this side of things, for these major glyphs. Oh, yeah, Vendetta, I'm sorry. I was saving this for last, because this is the only glyph I feel is essentially required. Reduces the damage bonus by a very small amount, considering it's 30% by default, so it reduces it to 25%. And increases the duration by 10 seconds. Now, the only time I wouldn't use this, maybe for arenas, because I want more front-loading damage. But, for PvE, it's obviously a flat DPS increase for every other situation other than front-load burst. And even for front-load burst, it's such a small difference. Now, that's it for glyphs. Let's go over to talents. Let's start with the first rank. Our good old Night Stalker also increases the damage dealt by abilities when you're stealth. So this is the old Master of Subtlety, but it's available for everyone. I love this talent for everyone, basically, for front-loading damage. The other ones have no real PvE purposes, so this is pretty much a PvP tier entirely. Subterfuge, your stealth breaks 3 seconds after dealing or receiving hostile actions rather than immediately. So you can cheap shot and stay stealth for 3 seconds. Okay. You can also get AoE'd or whatever and stay stealth for 3 seconds, so you have more time to cheap shot. This would be really, really, really nice for leveling, actually, because I know that when I'm trying to ambush somebody, I get knocked out of stealth constantly. It's really obnoxious, so I like that. But it's tough to pick one, because for PvP purposes, these are all so powerful. I mean, more front load burst, more mobility, versus more stealth, I don't know. And then Shadow Focus. Wow. Any ambush spec saves you 60 energy on your initial front load. The abilities no longer cost energy. And then, of course, 40 for cheap shot and whatnot. So this is huge. This is huge. It also doesn't cost anything for sap, but that's really minor. I don't care about that much. I mainly care about this for the ambush, more front load damage. So which gives you more damage, Shadow Focus or Night Stalker? I don't know. I'm not really sure. And I would say that I like Night Stalker more for the move speed and mobility. But it's up to you. I really can't say Either way, this tier is a really difficult choice, actually. So maybe I should go back to what I said about these not being interesting. Maybe I've forgotten that there are some really good ones here. Second tier, you got to choose between a couple of good old-fashioned talents, Deadly Throw and Combat Readiness, and then the other option is Nerve Strike. I really like Nerve Strike because, keep in mind this, it says it's a successful kidney shot, so you cannot use this on bosses. Sorry. Also reduces the damage dealt by the target by 50%. I love this for challenge modes. I'm going to combo it with Prey on the Weak. We'll see that in a minute. But for challenge modes, I love this. And PvP, of course, is no-brainer. Really powerful. Deadly Throw, though, having to give up Deadly Throw for this is tough for PvP. Deadly Throw is so effective. I do like that it works with the 5 combo points. You no longer need your glove bonus. It just works straight up. So it's, that makes it a tough choice. And then Combat Readiness, of course, for defense. I don't even know. I mean, if for arena, I've never played in a rogue PvP, significantly. I only played it in vanilla to get the when they released the welfare epics at the end of right before Burning Crusade. I grinded up a lot of honor on my rogue. Other than that, I'm not really PvP in a rogue. I never did arena on my rogue at all. So I'm not the best person to ask about which one of these to choose. But I feel like Nerve Strike is the way to go because you can pick the highest. I mean, I know normally you go on the healer. If you're not on the healer, though, this would be really good. Target their most powerful damage dealer and basically kick their ass. Anyway, so Cheat Death, Leeching Poison, and Elusiveness. This is all protection and durability. Leeching Poison to me is king. It gives you a non-lethal that's so much better than the other options for PvE, which causes you to heal for 10%. 10% of your damage dealt, which is an enormous amount of healing. Just an absolutely enormous amount of healing. Basically, you no longer need Recuperate ever again for PvE when you have this. The Shiv effect gives you a quick instant heal. Yeah, I mean, I'll use this. I won't need to use it that often at all. I mean, I probably wouldn't even Shiv at all with this thing. I might even just take Shiv off my bar, except for Enrage. I have to keep it for Enrage, but this is such a no-brainer for PvE to me. The other options, though, they're still useful. I mean, Cheat Death gives you, every 90 seconds, you can stand in the fire. Good old-fashioned Cheat Death. Now it's available for all specs. That's pretty substantial. And the last one's Elusiveness, which allows you to reduce damage proactively. It gives you a little mini shield wall on no cooldown. Feint is just energy bound. So you can use this and really have 30% permanent reduction if you really want to. If you really want to keep spending that energy, which is not a good idea. But I like this because this is a good oh shit button for surviving surviving something or, helping your healers out a little bit. But this helps your healers out so much more. I mean, this is so powerful. PvP-wise, though, picking one of these a little tougher, I guess Cheat Death would have to be it for arena. Cheat Death is so powerful. Just the fact that you have Cheat Death means that people won't want to attack you. Or hell, maybe they'll just assume you have it and they won't attack you then. So yeah, Cheat Death, really solid for PvP. Leeching Poison, no-brainer for PvE. Elusiveness kind of left out in the dark. I don't really see myself picking this. Not that it's useless, it's just compared to the other two, it's nothing. Next here. You get to choose between Shadow Step and Preparation. So as Subtlety, you no longer get both, but you get to pick one for your other specs, which is cool. I went with Shadow Step. I think this is a great oh shit button for PvE, but for PvP wise, of course, it's a no-brainer. I mean, just a gap closer is so important. So being able to use this with Mutilate is so cool. Now, Preparation, you can no longer get a Glyph of Preparation, so you can no longer double kick. So this makes this a lot less useful. It's still nice to be able to double vanish and whatnot for PvP, so for picking one of these a little tougher. And then Burst of Speed is really interesting. Keep in mind with this tooltip, it's easy to misread this. This is either a sprint or a CC breaker. It's not both. It's one or the other. So either you break the CC or if you're not under CC, then you get the sprint. It's only 4 seconds, and this is in addition to your regular sprint. So you can use Burst of Speed to break your chains, and then you can sprint, or you can just Burst of Speed and then sprint back to back and get like 12 seconds of duration. Kind of a neat idea. Also, keep in mind that Burst of Speed has a no cooldown. It's energy. It's energy bound, just like Feint. So you can use it quite a bit, and I mean, it's there. I could see some good uses for Burst of Speed. I'm not anti Burst of Speed exactly, but I just think that Shadow Step is so much more effective. Even though Shadow Step's lost the damage bonus after Shadow Stepping, it just has the movement speed and of course the displacement, which is the real reason you use it. But losing the damage bonus really sucks. Basically, it sucks for your ambush front loading damage and everything. So that makes Preparation a little bit more. I don't know. I can't. Maybe they're actually doing their job here. They're trying to design these talents so that you can't make these super easy decisions, and maybe they've done their job. I think Leeching Poison is the only one that's a little OP out of all these. So I don't know. I'm undecided here. I went with Shadow Step because I happen to love Shadow Step quite a bit, and I'll just keep that for now. Next tier, Prey on the Weak. This is the old improved kidney shot from vanilla. Yeah, absolutely, and it works for other abilities too. It works for Cheap Shot. Works for your Gouge, Sap, and Blind. It's not that useful, but it's only for the duration of the effect. So you can't like sap somebody and then attack them and get the 10% bonus. You have to use Kidney Shot or Cheap Shot. Great for challenge modes. I mean, this is killer. I really liked rogues for challenge modes here, and challenge modes are one of the most interesting things that I'm really interested in conquering in Mists. So combination of Nerve Strike, Prey on the Weak. I am leveling a rogue, like I said, an Alliance rogue. So I may play my Alliance rogue in challenge mode just because there's so much utility. There's so much utility from this class. Nerve Strike and Prey on the Weak together means you're going to be wanting to stun whatever the most dangerous target is. Keep in mind that the key to challenge modes is the timer, which means you're going to be chain pulling, which means anything you can do to make your healer's life easy, aka Leeching Poison, anything you can do to make your tank's life easier, aka Nerve Strike, is great. And then Prey on the Weak just increases the damage of your whole group so much that it's worth using a Kidney Shot instead of your other damage abilities. So, of course, doesn't work on raid bosses or anything that's stun immune. So maybe you just want to keep around a stack of Tome of the Clear Minds and swap it out for something else every time you get to a boss. I don't know, but I love Prey on the Weak. Very interesting. Other two, Paralytic Poisons. Coat your weapon with a non-lethal poison. So yes, another non-lethal poison to compete with Leeching, which means I'm never going to use it. I'm kidding. Actually, for PvE, I'll never use it, but for PvP, stack it 5 times and it stuns for 4 seconds. You've already got so many different stuns, so many different DRs going around with your stuns. I think this is more of a niche talent. I think that if you build around ambush, then you might be able to do something with this. But if you build around your general cheap shot, cheap shot, kidney shot, then this is not that useful because of the DRs. And the other non-lethals are so good for PvP. Keep in mind the main reason I'm using Leeching for PvE is that there's no other good choices for PvE. But Paralytic is going to be competing for the PvP prize, which means it has to compete with Crippling and Wound. So I don't like Paralytic. I'll pass on that one for most of the time, but I can see how someone could make a spec around it. But that's okay. And Dirty Tricks is pretty classic, similar. Well, it doesn't affect Cheap Shot anymore, but Dirty Tricks is Gouge and Blind, and no longer has energy costs, and no longer break from damage, poison and bleed. I don't think this is very useful for PvE. It's good for PvP. So this may be your choice for PvP. I mean, I don't know. I prefer Kidney Shot, Cheap Shot combo for Arena, for front loading damage in Arena, but for PvP, otherwise, being able to gouge people that are bleeding, because you're so reliant on your rupture after all, being able to gouge people who are bleeding is really cool. But for blind, I don't think it's necessary because you have the glyph. I went over it very briefly here. You have your classic blind glyph that allows you to blind things whenever you want. So for challenge modes or for anything, for trash that's blindable, you don't need this talent anymore. If there's a dot or a bleed on it, you can just, you shouldn't have something ruptured unless it's a focus target anyway. But you may have something poisoned or whatever, or damage. Someone else may put a damage over time on it, whatever. So you've got the Glyph of Blind to take care of that. You don't really need Dirty Tricks. I think this tier is kind of one-sided with Prey on the Weak for everything. So I feel like Prey on the Weak is by far the strongest tier. That doesn't mean Dirty Tricks is useless, but I just love this talent. So there you go. Last tier, this is really weird because these two abilities are kind of iffy. Your Redirect has no cooldown. I could see how that could be useful. Good old Redirect, transfers the combo points. I can see how that'd be useful, but for a level last tier talent, when you see the other two, you're going to say, I don't know. Shuriken Toss. Gives you, replaces throw, deals physical damage, and gives you combo points. So it's a ranged combo point generator. Combine that with Deadly Throw, and you just chase someone down and just toss and Deadly Throw them to death. This is really cool. Great for people who run away from you. Great for initiating when you don't have a chance to stealth, you vanish down, whatever. A lot of good uses for that. You can even use this in PvE. I mean, you can even use this. There's too much fire around the enemy. Just get back and hang out with the warlocks and throw shurikens. I don't see this being a viable, actual ranged rogue build, but I still say this has got tons of utility. But wait till you see Anticipation. Okay, this is the granddaddy talent. This is the one that I can't see myself not taking this as Assassination. This applies so much to Assassination. When one of your attacks, well, I'll just sum it up this way. It allows you to save up extra combo points, right? So you get 6, 7, 8 combo points, it saves it up, and then when you use your finisher, you get those combo points back. This is so important with Seal Fate. Oh my god, this is so important with Seal Fate. I mean, if you're at 4 combo points and you land a Mutilate and it crits, then you've wasted 2 combo points, right? Not anymore. Not with Anticipation. Anticipation keeps your Envenoms rolling much longer. This is such a huge DPS increase compared to everything else. I mean, it also is really useful it's even useful for combat, even though combat has a drastically lower chance of proccing extra combo points compared to Assassination. It's still really, really useful for this. So I mean, this is like the no-brainer talent for me. I think this completely redoes your entire rotation. I think that it just gives you so many more finishing moves than you would have otherwise. I would never not take Anticipation. So I'm very happy with that. Now I'm going to look at our level 85 rotation one more time before we go. Yeah, so can you tell I'm really enthusiastic about Assassination? About rogues in general, really. The other 2 specs are very simple, but not as many cool things. But they're still good. I mean, a lot of the best changes I've shown are actually just, rogue specific, not spec specific. What's up with the disappearing? It's phased on me. Anyway, so I'm going to open with, I don't know, what do you want me to open with? I guess I'll open with an ambush. What the hell, why not? So we'll ambush, and then I'll mutilate, and then I got a Seal Fate already. I got a dispatch. I'm not going to spend that. I'm just going to go ahead and rupture first. I always call it garrote. Then I'm going to do my blind sight. It's going to crit and give me an extra combo point. Then I'm going to mutilate, crit, waste 2 combo points, keep in mind, so I can slice and dice. And then dispatch, and then get back to work here. There's another blind side, so I'll pop that. Mutilate, or full again. Let's envenom. My rupture is getting a little low, so we're gonna blind side of that proc. I'm gonna do one more mutilate. Rupture is run out too early. Let's rupture. Let's blind side. Let's or dispatch. I keep calling it. Well, blind side's the passive that makes it proc. Dispatch is the actual ability. Let's envenom again. This isn't the most complicated thing in the world. I haven't even worked in my Vendetta. I might as well just use it. Why the hell not? Let's get that damage bonus. I don't need a refresh yet. I'll need it pretty soon, though. Yeah, after this dispatch, I'll refresh there. I wasted a combo point, so there's that Anticipation again. Yeah, how could you not take Anticipation? How could you not take it? It's just not even a decision to me. I don't know. It's just too useful. So, Venom, dispatch. I mean, what else can I do here? This is it. I don't mind this rotation. I like this rotation. There's enough procs. Watching your combo points is a little more interesting. A lot of finishing moves. Let's get my rupture going again. Let that drop off like a moron. You never have to refresh your slice and dice. It does that for you. You never have to worry about your recuperate because you're using... well, I don't have it equipped at the moment, but obviously I will be using... That was stupid. I hit mutilate with 5 points. I will be using Leeching Poison, obviously. Dispatch, Venom. My rupture's about to fall off. My next mutilate. Perfect timing. Rupture. Oh, come on. Rupture. There we go. I heard a spell. I heard the sound effect. Nothing happened. That's all right. There's a crit mutilate. Wasted 2 combo points. No big deal. Get that Anticipation. You don't have to glyph your mutilate anymore, by the way. It's 55 energy by default. I guess that's kind of neat. I see that in a lot of places. A lot of those required glyphs, those old prime glyphs, now they've been eliminated, they just put it on. They're just like, well, it's required anyway. I guess we'll just put it on the skill. That makes too much sense. We can't have that. So an Envenom. I'm actually going to regen some energy before I Envenom again because I was stacking my Envenoms too high. That's always a good thing, right? You get so many Envenoms that you pretty much can't use them all. Rupture. Okay, anyway. Enough of that. That was fun. Love it. Love it. Super happy with it. I didn't even maintain my exposed armor. I should have. Should have done that. Just assume you have to, and unless you find something that you don't have to, based on the comp of the team. I love Assassination. I love the rogues in general. Really glad I decided to level a rogue. I might just, prioritize my rogue over my shaman now. I was going to level the shaman just so I'd have a healer. I mean, maybe I'll do that a little more casually, but the fact that I might actually play a rogue now in Mists. But the Warlock is so good. I've already got my DPS class. I've already got my DPS. I got my Warlock, I got my Blood DK, and my third may be the Rogue instead of the Shaman now, because I'm not that happy about Shamans. They're kind of boring, and the only changes were to the totems, which are not a positive change in my opinion. I'm a little ambivalent about it, but I love it. I love it. I love it. Very happy with Rogue. So anyway, glad to share the good news, and this has been Cromar. I'll see you next video for Subtlety and Combat. See you then. What's funny is, at this point in the game, we were trying at least a little bit in more mage mode. It's just that we're so good at this game now that...
Yeah, literally the 10 hours straight we played the first day of the game was released. Apparently,
yeah, we learned something from that.
Set us above the curve here.
Oh, there she goes. There you go, Nidalee. That's what I'm talking about. Get that 7 gold or whatever he's worth at this point. 0-5-1, man. Whew, 0-5-1. Okay, now this is the really interesting thing, character traits. Now, you can build strengths and weaknesses, okay? You get each strength is worth a certain number of points, and you can choose up to 3 strengths. And whatever you choose, you have to balance it out by choosing weaknesses. So I can choose all the most expensive strengths, but now I have to put 10 points into weaknesses, so I have to put a lot of weaknesses. I am splitting my damage here, which isn't great. Oh, wow, I'm losing a lot of health. Okay. Ooh, holy shit. Run away. You can't catch me.